the reason why I run around and why I did it even back in Fest 2023, I even did it in VRCon. I like to be somebody that can help people that are like here for the first time, and also like I like to check on people
Hmm.
here and like to meet people. So what I do a lot, I run around and everything and like, talk to some of the viewers that are just here for the first time. Maybe if they want some help finding like get themselves started of looking at communities, I try to gear them towards.
Welcome to Metaverse Degen. I'm Lion. Straight from PJKT.
And boy, we have a good guest today, and it's one going to be a funny one. I hope you can stick with this and have a good time. And that is, and I'm Old Man Raptor.
Hiya. My name's Vanessa Wolf. I am the video and music productions team lead here at PJKT. I am also a music producer and VRchat dancer and role player.
Oh. So what got you into
Nice.
VRchat and to all of those things? Because it sounds like you're doing quite a lot.
Well, I actually started VRchat. I started way back in late 2018, early 2019 was the first time I started. And I didn't play it as much. I was only a deskie at the time. I didn't have a VR headset. Um, and then basically around that time of like when late 2019 hit, COVID hit, and I didn't really have anything outside of going to work because I was an essential worker at a convenience store at the time. So I started getting on this game a little more often just to kill time, and started slowly falling in love with it. Got into the role play with LPD, and met a good friend of mine by the name of Vrchat, who taught me how to do all the VR and VR dancing.
Oh, wow.
And then obviously music has just been part of my life since I was a wee lass.
Okay. So what was the moment like when you first started getting into PJKT and doing music and stuff? What led you into being here?
Frankly, a lot of networking, if I'm being frank. I started off with meeting Fizzy or Vrchat, and he invited me to help out on occasion with some media stuff over at VRCon when that was growing and being built. And
Hmm.
so I'd help him out very often, got to learn some of the team there, had a good friend that joined that team that's part of ours now. His name is Kenny, Kenny Beats, one of our
Oh,
editors at the
God, I hope
media
they didn't
team.
kill
But
Kenny.
no, his nickname is the
Whoops.
Derp for me, but no, I don't kill him.
Oh, okay. Just want to make sure that SOB comes back all the time. Yeah.
Yeah, no, but anyway, no. So he was part of that, and then like after PGKT started to form, he went and jumped over to that convention, and he was the one that got me into it. I put in an application, and then I got interviewed by Wolveeps and Chris, and then one thing led to another, and now I'm the video and music productions team lead.
Wow. That sounds like quite the
Question.
shoot.
I got a question. And I ask this question for most of our viewers that we interview and stuff like this. What was when first time you came into VR? What was the weirdest thing you saw and you got out of Dodge? Because it was no, don't want to see it. I gotta go.
I can't say I remember weirdest thing I saw, but I can tell this story because this is hilarious. This was back in the days of the dreadful public lobbies. No, I'm kidding. But no, no, back when I was just like somebody that just like only knew a lot of the surface of VR chat and just only kind of knew public lobbies. Didn't really know any communities at the time. I joined in a midnight rooftop map and befriended somebody there, like started talking, having a good conversation with him. He's an old friend. I think he's still on my friends list, but his name is April Face. Um, and first conversation I ever had with the man, and that was the first thing I ever like. One of the first ones I remember is he was trying to work out the math of somebody that like was wasted on this game. that like was saying that his like you might have to censor this, but or cut this out. But this conversation is he met a wasted dude that was talking about like that his dick was like the size of Mount Everest, and he was trying to work out the math of how much blood you would need to get a boner with that kind of size of a dick.
Hey man, hey, you want to see the truck I carried in? Wow, I got it in the yard. It comes with a trailer. I have to have somebody. I have to pay somebody else to drive me around to go to the bathroom.
Raptor, you need bigger than a fucking truck to carry that thing. You're just gonna just start destroying countries. You lift it and drop it, and millions of people die immediately.
The atomic bomb, right?
Like, that was like one of the but that was like one of the first interactions I ever had with somebody on this game, and it's something that's like held to me because it's such a funny way to meet somebody.
That does sound like the funniest way to meet somebody, and that sounds like a way too serious of way to dictate how much blood it would take. That's a lot of effort for something so dumb.
Oh my god! Hey, you got the math out? I got to do the blood count. I'm doing you know, you don't go to the sperm bank, you go to the blood bank to see how much we can actually do. Oh my god. Wow.
Yeah, no. So that was my cursed introduction of VR chat. So
though to be fair, we all have our early in VR chat we saw stories. Like what I tell all the time is the time I went into a Black Cat, or a Black Cat, it was the Murder 4, and I was in the waiting lobby, and as soon as I walked in, there was a bunch of anime waifus huddled in the corner, moaning Oni-chan, and I didn't know what the culture was yet. Still, like, first couple of weeks in the game. And I didn't understand. I just saw a bunch of anime waifus, what sounded like kids or young adults or whatever, moaning Oni-chan. I was confused, and so I just noped the fuck out there as fast as I could.
Just didn't want anything to do with that shit.
No.
In your case, mine, and I tell this to people and everything else like this. I went in the Black Cat, being a small avatar, and this lady out of nowhere, full size, comes flying up to me, and everything else like this, starts patting me. Oh, you're so cute! You're so cute! Wow, I love your avatar and everything else like this. And I couldn't say anything. I couldn't say nothing at all. Her boyfriend comes over and goes, "Do you know what you're doing?" She goes, "Yeah, I'm petting this little sweet little fox." And you go, look where his face is. All I got was her crotch in my face. I didn't know how to react or how to talk to this person at all. I couldn't say anything or anything else. She left. He apologized. I went over to tell him it was no big deal, and they were already gone. I think she was so embarrassed what she did. It was just unreal.
I mean, compared to being Lion, it sounds like you had a more like actual like more somewhat wholesome fucking interaction first off.
Interaction with somebody going, well, if I talk to you, I don't think you're going to understand me way down here. It's going to be a muffled problem, and you think I've got a problem here. Yeah, pretty much the situation.
So I have a question off from left field a little bit. What was some of the first groups you interacted with? Was it the role play scene? Was it dance groups? Was it PJKT and over in VRCon?
Kind of a little bit of everything. It was like I started with LPD. That was like the first ever community I joined, was Lolly Police Department, and became one of the recruits. I ranked up all the way to SO. If I kept going, I probably would have made it to the white shirt, but anyway. But yeah, no, like I did the SO stuff, and then in there I met my friend Vrchat, who he was an LPD officer at the same time. And I found out I found out in his spare time he goes to like public Black Cats and he does ballroom dancing. Like he plays music on a soundboard and he does like ballroom in VR. And so from there, he basically started teaching me the ropes and teaching me how to like understand play space, like where it's almost second nature. And like understand how to do all this fun stuff. And then I basically took the style I already knew how to dance IRL at that time because I was already dancing. And basically I got to learn how to translate that into here. And like I've been a dancer for like 5 years now on this game, and it's been a lot of fun. And, obviously with all the VRCon stuff, that kind of happened soon after because I met Fizzy before VRCon officially started, and then I got to reconvene with him and started getting introduced with all the VRCon stuff when I joined Sirix's tournament for Laserdome.
Mm.
Got into that community and got into VRCon both at relatively the same time for that.
Oh, wow. So, a question I asked Jorah when we talked with him was, what was one of your favorite patrols with the LPD that you remember? Maybe it was funny, maybe it was cool.
This one, okay, there's some horror stories with LPD, but like one that always sticks with me was like one of the funniest things. I was part of LMT. We were the LMT squad for one patrol, and we were getting like no calls that day. It was so boring for us and everything. We were getting hardly any interactions when we went out as our own squad, and none of the other squads were getting injured, so we couldn't get calls. And so at one point, one of our instigators came in, joined in, just saw how we were doing for that patrol. He wasn't on duty, like he wasn't actually doing any of the stuff that day. But so my squad lead for the LMT day, he goes and basically says like, "Hey, we're bored as shit, not able to do anything. Would you be willing to injure one of the squads for us?" Like, we just hired an instigator to go and injure somebody else so we could do something. Like, it was hilarious. And then like he was like, "Okay, fine, I'll do it. Fine, like fuck it." And so he leaves. Like, we have no idea what he's gonna do, right? We just figured like, it's an instigator. He's probably gonna have one of those avatars that have guns and shit and shoot up the place. And then the call happens. We get a call about a squad getting injured. We're like, okay, we'll head in there. We go and get the instance number. It's a FBT Haven world that they're in. And so we're like, okay, it's probably just standard issue. Somebody got shot up or something like that. We walk in there with all of our LMT gear, and the first thing we see with that, like, it was back in the FBT update where like you started in that elevator, right?
Yep.
And everything. So when that elevator, like, we spawn in, everyone goes in, we go into the elevator and go up to the floor where everyone's at. And once that elevator opens, first thing we see, the dude got ran over by an SUV that somehow faked FBT Haven.
SUV in an elevator. Oh my fucking god!
Like, he dressed up as one of our SUV patrol cars and just ran over a fucking officer. And we're just like, the entire time we had to try to explain to everybody, like, in the role play, like, as we were interacting with them, setting up the barricades and stuff, we were having to tell people, like, we don't know how this SUV got in here. We have to, like, try to get this out.
Oh my
There's still
god!
remnants. There's still remnants of that. I'm pretty sure if you go in the LPD server, if you look at the shots, if you look at the mug shots, we took a photo of us arresting the car. So we have a mug shot of the car.
How the hell? Wow, this car got out of hand, crawled itself in there, just drove right into the elevator and went up to the couple floors. Oh my gosh. Oh my god. And so forth like this, and everything else like this. That'd be something fucking you would not fucking see very often, to see with a fucking SUV in an elevator. I wonder who's going to change the oil when it gets to the bottom floor.
The better question, like, the SUV is like the same width as the elevator, so this thing was like exactly perfect size in it. So it's just like this thing somehow managed to drive into this elevator, go up a floor, and then run somebody over. And like, we had to try to justify that in our roleplay. It was hilarious.
Can you imagine making the report of that, Lion? Imagine writing up the report on that one. Automobile and elevator kills officer. I don't know how it works, but it got in there. Somebody was, oh my god, that'd be freaking nuts. Holy
LPD
Christ.
reports back in the day were wild, dude. Even the medical ones, like the amount of times that, like, the amount of times we replaced people with, like, we gave people a bunch of cybernetic replacements because we were too lazy to do surgery. Like, if you look, there's like a whole trend of that.
Oh wow.
So what made you continue with the LPD before you went off to do dancing, it sounded like what made you keep on going with them, and what? Yeah.
A lot of it was just like hanging out with that community. Like I made a lot of good friends, and a lot of them I still know today. But like it was just a lot of fun, and the only reason why I slowly stopped it was just like at the time they didn't have. We were in the LPD was in a weird spot where they were like doing a lot of management overhauling and stuff like that.
Mhm.
So we didn't get a whole lot of events. We had mainly like two main ones we did, which was just the normal patrols, and then we did like the most wanted events.
Hmm.
Um, and things like that. It was those were like the main two that were only happening around that time because it was in a weird pocket where they were trying to reorganize a bunch of stuff. And so for that reason, it was like it just kind of got a little bit repetitive, and so I kind of stopped going. And then ultimately, I just lost my rank and then never renewed it.
That makes sense. So from when you went
That's what
to
it was.
oh, so from when you went to the LPD into dancing, from it sounds, what kinds of things did you do once you learned to dance? From what you're showed what you could do by that person you told us about. Where did you take it after going in?
Um, I I did a lot of what he did, starting off, where I just like I'd join him in like these public black cats that he'd go to and stuff like that, and we kind of just show off what we did. And that's like where it went for a while. And then after I met Fizzy and started getting into VRCon, we started showing it off at cons like those.
Mm.
Um, and then basically first year of VRCon, I did a talent show with him where we did a duet and everything. We did a duet together. It was the song "Hiding in the Blue" from the Fat Rat and Riel.
Mm.
We did a whole duet song together with that. And then after that case, actually, uh, I approached slash got approached. Like it was kind of we both like mutually thing. I went to the booth world that they had for that year, and IDA had a booth there.
Mm.
And basically, one of the people there who was also a host person, his name is Shadows W. We both started talking and like became friends and everything. And then we had into a conversation about the thing I did at the talent show with Vrchat, and Vrchat was already part of the IDA, and so he knew him but didn't know me, and basically one thing led to another, and I basically Shadows and I decided like I wanted to join the IDA, and he invited me to it.
Mm.
So it was because of Shadows that I got into the IDA, and then I've been a dancer, just continued dancing from there.
Okay. I want to sound like ask a really dumb question, but what is the IDA?
International Dance Association. It's a one of the biggest dance communities that exist here in VRChat. It includes dancers that exist both IRL and in VRChat.
Oh, wow.
They're all about showing off the world of dance and like what you can do with it. They have everything from ciphers that you just get to have fun and show off what you do to dance battles, and they also have actual like real life people that are certified tutors that actually will teach styles of dancing.
Oh,
Like
wow.
they're it's crazy. They actually hold like actual official
Nice.
competitions too. Like they've gone through so many competitions and actually won awards. Like their dancers have went and won awards at these competitions.
Wow. So I'm gonna ask another
Yeah,
question.
it's crazy.
How many dancers are in VRChat? Is it a very common thing to see here, and is it something people take seriously?
I think it's a lot more common than people think it is. It's very hard to find them because it's kind of a little bit of a niche pocket.
Hmm.
If you're not looking for it, it's kind of hard to find them. But um like with these kind of groups, that's like what we aim to kind of make that grow though. Like that's what IDA's purpose is, and that's what like a lot of these other ones, like we have another person doing an event which is VR dancing, which is they have an event for PJKT here this week. That they're a community that also does something similar to IDA where they teach a lot of dancing and stuff like that. But yeah, no, like we're trying so hard with like communities like these to get the dancing space out there, and like that's what we try to aim for.
Hmm. So, with the kind of styles of dancing there are, how many from the real world can translate well into VR, and how many VR unique styles of dancing are there?
I honestly say dancing in VR and dancing in real life is really both ends. They're limitless of what you can
Mhm.
do. Like it's limitless of how many styles you can incorporate that actually work in here. You just the only difference between the IRL versions and the VRC is that sometimes you got to learn to dumb it down and maybe get a little creative with it. Like for me, I started off as like when I first started dancing, I only knew like isolation and hip hop style. And then when I started translating all of that into VR and Vrchat was teaching me ballroom and stuff like that, I became a freestylist. And now I do dancing that incorporates 5 different core styles all together. And then I mix that with the VR stuff.
Hmm.
Like, so I just learned to take all these different styles and all of the generic like power moves they did, and also like just a lot of the core concepts and rules that they take, and then learned how to translate that into VR in a way that works here.
Hmm.
And you'll notice like a lot of the dancers, like especially if you ever witnessed the IDA or some of the other dance communities like that, a lot of them have two different styles depending on if they're dancing IRL or if they're dancing in VR chat. Like
Oh
they will
wow.
change certain things up just so that it translates better in both worlds. Like
Wow.
they're very creative.
Wow. So, what are some things that VR does well with dancing, and what are some things that make it a bit difficult?
Um, Tracking.
Fair.
Like first one you could say right now, tracking. If you don't have a good space or good way to track yourself, it can make or break a dance sometimes.
Hmm.
A lot of us just, whenever our dancing goes burr, we just kind of laugh it off and then like either just continue on, or sometimes if it's too bad, we restart, but it's very rare. We all just try to still flow with it.
Hmm.
Um, so that's like one of the major problems. As far as one of the major advantages, I'd say, is that you get a lot more unique ways to show yourself. For example, for Seton and myself, we do actually something more unique that I don't see a lot of people do. Everyone's familiar with PlaySpace Mover.
Hmm.
Not a feature that PlaySpace Mover gives that not a lot of people use is the gravity feature. And what me and Forsetten use, since we do a lot of ballroom style and a lot of big room
I don't
use,
know if I remember
um,
you.
we will use the gravity feature to actually like fling ourselves up, and we will start flying around while dancing.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
That's actually really cool. So, what kinds of things are there that's unique to VR that for dancing and that kind of artistic expression?
Well, as I mentioned, the play space mover is like one advantage. The other one, you get to have a lot more cool things in terms of like shows and spectacle, because something you can't exactly do. You can't just like, be out in the world like dancing out in the street and then suddenly like wings sprout from your back and
Hmm.
everything like in the middle of it. Like using toggles and particle systems is also a very fun way to add spectacle to your dance, because then like you're able to show off a
Hmm.
bunch of cool effects as along with it. And like biggest thing is like with a lot of dance styles like me, we tell stories. Like
Hmm.
that's the kind of thing we do. We take the songs we have and we tell stories through them. And so using those particle effects and using those little toggle effects, all of those actually help us like make that more immersive and allow people to get kind of like entranced with that kind of story.
Hmm. So when you're telling a story through dance, whether it's like through regular dance or particle systems, how long does it take to prepare for something like that for a VR chat dance show?
For me personally, actually, I don't really I want to say I don't practice, but I actually don't really plan. I don't
Hmm.
choreograph. So what I do whenever I'm listening to a song, I listen it over and over and I plan in my head specific moves that I want to do, but everything in between those specific moves is all improv.
Hmm.
So everything I do like in between is just basically all I'm thinking in my head that whole time is how do I get from one move to the next?
Okay.
Like how can I bridge that? But yeah, that's the thing. It's like everyone has their own style. Some people have full-on choreographs that they do. Other people like myself and people like Fracet, and a lot of it's just us improvising. Like
Oh,
never one show of a dance is like never once the same.
okay.
There's always minor differences. Like even if we are following a bit of a choreograph, like there's always going to be minor differences and different change ups like on certain points,
Hmm.
because we don't choreograph everything.
Okay. So since you're doing a lot of improv, I would like to ask you something else as well. Just get curious if when someone is planning a particle system dance or some sort of like virtual event to happen while dancing, does that take a lot of preparation, or is that or can you do improv with that as well?
I mean, when you're practicing toggles, it's no for me at least, it's no different than what I'm doing when I'm like practicing like how do I get from one move to the next.
Hmm.
Is So since I do a lot of storytelling, my style involves a lot of following lyrics more than beats, which is not something that a lot of dancers do. A lot of them follow the beat of it.
Okay.
I follow the lyrics, and so for that reason, I listen for keywords that stand out to me
Mm.
and everything. And whenever those stand out, I'd like to utilize toggles for that. Like, so if one, like, for example, if I use a song that's talking about flying away, the minute it mentions flying away, I'll toggle some wings on and I'll start doing the play space flying.
Okay. That's actually really cool. So
Yeah.
okay. How long would it take you to like memorize those lyrics, and how does lyrical dancing differ from beat dancing? Like dancing from the beat versus lyrics?
Um, when it comes to the first part of that, I mean, the planning that out part of it is really not that. It doesn't take that long.
Mm.
I listen to maybe a song like at minimum, I listen to a song like maybe 2 or 3 times
Mm.
to kind of figure out what I want to do with it. And
Okay.
then like from there, it's a lot of the case of what I like to do whenever I'm like actually trying to like when I hear a song I want to try to learn how to practice and maybe show off one day. What I'll do is I'll actually just sit down like in VR like this and
Mm.
everything, listen to the song once. I'll like and I'd figure out like step by step. So like it hits once. I'm like, okay, which avatar would be a good fit for this? This one. I switch into that. Listen to it again. I start figuring out the body movements that I want to do, like frame by frame. And then like on the third run, it's like, okay, I know what this avatar can do. What toggles do I want to add in, and where do I want to place them? Kind
Okay.
of things. It's like so basically, it's like a 3-step process for me. So it's like first off, listen to the song, figure like listen to the song and figure out the avatar. Second one is choreograph, and then third one is effects.
Mm. Okay. So another question for you
Yeah.
as well. What kind of places utilize dancers in VR? And is it just like the rave or club scene, or is it other more specific niche places?
I mean, club scene is very popular with a lot of the dancers. But like, I mean, pretty much you can dance anywhere if you wanted to. It's just a matter of like either you can work it out if you're wanting to show it off at a community, you can work it out with them, or like places like PJKT here who offers events specifically for that. Like I'm going to be hosting on the final day a talent show where people can go to give them the opportunity to do stuff like that. Like if there's one thing that like a lot of people have in VR chat that I praise them for, they have a lot of creativity and a lot of them know very unorthodox ways to help like show off what they can do.
Hmm. Okay. No, I'm gonna lead into PJKT a little bit because I'm also curious. What kinds of things have you seen that has surprised you, and how people would express themselves, or the kinds of like talents that you mentioned people have while working with PJKT or VRCon?
Um, I mean, I have seen everything from the weird to the awesome. I mean, like everyone kind of has their own unique ways of showing that off, and I think like I can't really speak about like I can't really speak personally of like how like I
Mm.
can't take what I do personally and apply it to other people.
Mm.
But what I can say is like just what I do a lot is I try to, like I don't try to brag about what I can do, but what I like to do is I like to network. I like to get my name out there and say like, "Hey, I have these skills. If you're looking for somebody that can do this stuff, then feel free to get in contact with me." And
Mm.
that just leaves that door open. I'm not trying to be like very showy about it.
Mm.
It's like, if you're looking for this kind of stuff and everything, then like, I'm an option and, they either take it or leave it. And that's what I do a lot. I do a lot of networking and, it's gotten me pretty far. And I mean, everyone has their own different methods, I would say. But for me, that's what's helped me a lot.
Mm. Okay. Now that we're here in PJKT, I'd also like to ask about this here as well, because the time this airs will probably be after the fact. But how has this year in PJK differed from previous year, and how much work did it take? What's the difference in the workload between the two as well?
Workload was a lot heavier.
Mm.
I will say that straight off the bat. But to go into the full question, this year I would say is like I wouldn't say it's our peak. like by any means. There's still a lot of room we can grow, and there's a lot of ways we can do better. But from what we did compared to 2023, like for the first year of Fest, it's a mess. It's like night and day. Like honestly, if you go back into the 2023 world and everything and check that out, compare it, and then come back here and look at everything that we've done for this world, and not just that, but all the media show, like all the stuff that was, if you look at the VODs and all the stuff we did for media from last year compared to this year, massive improvements from like all the teams, I would say. Like ultimately, everyone did such an amazing job and improved so much. And that was, I would say that ultimately comes down is like we did have a lot more work because of that, but we gave ourselves the time for this year. And that was the difference, is because we only had 6 months for first year and everything. And that was the only reason why we didn't have as much time there, was because of the fact that, you know, at the same time, we were still getting off the ground and we were building our team foundations. So a lot of the effort went to that at the same time as building our first year. So, but once we got that off the ground and once we were confident in the stuff that we're doing now and able to bring that into 2024, it was 8 months of us just grinding out everything for Fest.
Wow. So, did I've noticed I've been to both worlds, the 2023 and 2024. Did you expect the amount of representatives to come and have booths and try and partake this year when you were preparing, gave yourself that time for this year?
I didn't anticipate how many we did end up getting. I'll say that much. When I first saw how Fest was, like you know, everyone, I would like, I'll say this about like a lot of our team. When it hit like the day before, a lot of us had a lot of mixed feelings with it. A lot of us were excited, but at the same time, we had a little bit of fear of if this is going to actually take off, if we're actually going to do good, and get some attention. And then day launched, and that weekend started. We immediately saw how everyone felt about it. Like crazily. It was so much support immediately after the fact. We had so many people constantly. I remember like having 10 to 20 conversations on like the second day where people were like saying that this is amazing. We want you guys to do this again. Like when are you doing it again? When is next fest? Like that question came up so many times during and after the event. And like from there I knew like this is something, we're hitting something. And so I knew like from there that we can push this and we can definitely get more people. And so I was thinking like, you know, maybe we'll at least get like, as the whole time we were developing 2024 and before we opened up like the applications for reps to start coming in and everything, like I'm just saying like my entire brain process was just like, you know, I'd love to at least get like 20 more people, like 20 more communities. That's all I want. Like 20 more individuals, 20 more communities. I didn't care. Just 20 more reps. And then they opened it. And then we ended up getting enough people to have 107 booths for this year. And then like after I found that out, literally on launch day, like when Carrot told us that we had 107 booths, that was my like entire like mind process of like, you know, only getting a couple more just completely blew off the roof. It was like my mind just exploded. Like the fact that we hit like more than double of last year was mind-boggling.
I'm sure it was. 107 people, like even walking around the entire fest during the event, there's so many booths, there's so many people, and it's impressive. Like if you were to go to the 2023 world and just look at the communities that are there, how many are there, then compared to this year,
Yeah.
it's very staggering.
Yeah, and then not to mention like the other two achievements that we got too. Like this is like the ultimate thing that solidified that I felt that we were doing something right was not even just the amount of reps we got, but also the two other things that we got confirmation for. Like, you know, get the VCAT ambassador. Like we have in our like PJKT has their entire team now as a VCAT ambassador. Like we have a small team for that now. And that's amazing to be able to have the honor to work with VCAT like that. The other like main thing as well that like I think like completely solidified it, winning a Telly Award for our first year.
Wow.
Like getting getting an award for our own convention just from being able to show off, like getting a gold award for something like that just for showing off our first year and getting so many votes on the Telly Awards. Like it sounds crazy like just on its own. Like if you don't know what a Telly Award is, it's like if you don't know a Telly Award, it doesn't sound all that impressive. It's just like an award, right? Like it's that's one thing. But you're talking about an award that we beat companies that were also fighting for it that are like 10 times bigger than us. Like Lionsgate had something in this. It's like, and we got the gold for that category.
Wow. So you went
Like
over
we beat
Lionsgate. That's
Lionsgate. We beat
impressive.
Yeah, like
That's
Lionsgate,
really impressive.
Telemundo, like Lionsgate, Telemundo, Walmart. Like they even had one. It's like just like all these big corporate companies, and we managed to beat an entire category.
Wow.
Wow.
So what has been the team's response to winning that? And did the Telly Awards themselves reach out and talk to you or ask anything about PJKT, and what was your response?
I'm not too sure about the conversations with Telly. That is definitely a question for that should have been something you asked for Chris when you did his episode, because with Chris, he was the one that did everything for the Tellys. He was the one that put all of it in for us, and like the video that we showed off about like for that category was all done by him. Like he did everything.
Oh, wow.
So yeah, so he did everything just for that one thing, and like obviously you can tell all the hard work that he put in. When he won gold, he was absolutely ecstatic, and we couldn't like help but feel the exact same way. It was like all of us were so crazy to learn that like the one thing that we had so much passion for and so much drive to try to build up, and all of us were volunteer work, like volunteers, keep in mind, you like all of us are just doing this out of passion and out of love. None of us are getting paid for it. And like we managed to have our entire team put in that effort as if they were, and get that repercussion that they have, be able to now go and put on their resume that they're part of a award-winning convention, is something that I could not have asked to be able to do for my team.
Well, congratulations to you and the entire team for winning the Telly Awards. That's quite an impressive achievement.
Very, 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 very cool. I got a question for him, Line, since
Shoot.
a little break here. You mentioned earlier between 23 and 24. In those process, because I like the weird stuff, you know how I am, folks. What's the weirdest thing that you saw in 23 that you just can't get out of your mind, knowing that 24 is just getting started and you've been running around up and down the goddamn entry like I said, you lost your purse back over there. You've been up and down this goddamn thing. I think you got a groove in the goddamn floor.
Let me explain something to you, Raptor. Okay, so this is something I did back in 2023. I would mindlessly run around. The only reason why I quote mindlessly run around is what I like to do at Fest. This is a little bit of a tangent, so I will answer the next question after that.
Okay.
But the reason why I run around and why I did it even back in Fest 2023, I even did it in VRCon. I like to be somebody that can help people that are like here for the first time, and also like I like to check on people here and like to meet people. So what I do a lot, I run around and everything and like, talk to some of the viewers that are just here for the first time. Maybe if they want some help finding like get themselves started of looking at communities, I try to gear them towards booths and everything. Like tell them like, oh, this booth is representing or at their booth right now representing themselves, and they can explain further to you. Like, let me take you here. Or like if I know a little knowledge about a community, then I'll like go there myself, go to their empty booth and start talking about them for them. And like I do that a lot to help them, but like at the same time, obviously being part of being a team lead and being part of the staff, I also like to make sure that the communities themselves are having a good time, making sure that they're like being able to bear some fruit when it comes to new recruits and everything. I like getting their names out there, so I'll run around and just kind of support everyone I can, from the viewers to the communities.
Wow.
Okay. Okay,
That's what I
now.
do, and that's why I that's why I run. But then on to the other question of like kind of the goofiest or like cursed things I've seen in 2023. I mean, one I think I mentioned to Lion. I don't know if you were there, Raptor. That happened in 2023, which is funny because we're right across from the booth. Within, not even within the first 10 minutes of the group publics going live at Project Fest for last year, I apparently heard word and actually confirmed to today that this was actually true and somebody actually did it. One of the white shirts of the LPD, which if you don't know, if you're not familiar with the LPD, the white shirts are like the actual commanding staff. Like they're the ones that organize all the events and do all like kind of the managing there. Um, so the reason why they're called white shirts is because once they reach the rank of that, once they reach that rank of actual official staff member, they get a uniform that's a white shirt for their police officer avatars. So everyone calls them the white shirts. But basically what happened is one of the white shirts, so one of their staff members, within the first 10 seconds of the group public's opening up, apparently ran to their own booth of the Lolly Police Department and set it on fire.
God. Wow. Okay.
You know, you mentioning the LPD, something funny
Wow.
happened today, of all days, with the LPD. Raptor and I are sitting here in our booth watching a seagull fly up, perch himself on top of the LPD's booth just above, and sat there for a while. Then flew in, took their name box for the mugshot board, and then flew off. Oh no!
Apparently.
And
there he goes.
I'm back.
There he
I
goes.
survived. But then with the name box, flew about the entire map with the entire LPD squad that's here manning the booth in tow for like a solid 20, 30 minutes, just running away with the box. Hello, just real quick, I'll only take a few seconds of your time. In the description that way you have a card, metaversedegen.card.co. We have many links down there for you to come check out. We have an X link, which is with me. We have a Discord where we hang out and do stuff all the time, as well as a Patreon link, where if you wish to support us, you can. Where there's also a show and another podcast separate from Metaverse Degen, which we have available to our wonderful members who signed up, such as Niche, Training Fangs, Aliquum, and Forbidden Zero. Thank you all. You're all amazing. Enjoy the rest of your video. I won't take up any of your time.
Minutes running from him. I'm running away with the box. Funny.
Okay, so that's what I love about a lot of these communities. I love the interactions that they do, not just here, but like within within their own events too. I mean, for example, you have the Kochi no Yakuza bar that's like right next to the LPD there. Which is, if you don't know, that's another roleplay group that's all about, it's based off the Yakuza games if you've ever played them and everything, and it's based on a lot of Japanese culture, and the Japanese mafia. So if that's a roleplay you're interested in, I definitely do recommend checking them out. I'm a member there too. It's a lot of fun. They know how to have fun with their stuff. And for example, one of the most cursed things I remember that existed during one of their events, this was actually during last year's fest. At the same time, they had an event where they opened up the Purgatory, which is a world of theirs, which is like their entire hub world and everything. Like they use that a lot for social RP and things like that. So they have these events where they open it up to the public, and people that join their server and stuff like that are free to come in and kind of see what they do and like what their roleplay is about. And I'm not even kidding. During that moment, I was in there. I was in there, and I was like just one of the players just in there, just kind of at the restaurant that was open at the time, just eating some food and everything, like in the social RP. And then halfway like through my quote meal in the social RP, I just see like about like 10 of the Yakuza members just running in. Oh, lag spike. Like running and chasing a goose that apparently got into the Purgatory. Like they're all chasing it with bats.
I get the same thing. I see that too when that happens. What the heck?
Yeah. That's the thing. They also translate it also to their own fun events, and that's what I love about these guys. Like, you can have roleplay groups like LPD and like Coach no Yakuza, which are like, they have their serious moments in RP, obviously. Like, every roleplay has serious moments, but they also know how to like have fun with it. And that's like the thing that I always love about the communities we have here is like, no one's here to like actually take the roleplay even seriously. Like, even some of the more dedicated role player groups here, like, they have their serious moments and stuff, but they're also still just people, and they still love to have fun with it.
You know, you mentioning Coach no
I got another
Yakuza
one.
before you. I would want to mention something else.
Okay, go for it.
I actually interacted with the Coach no Yakuza once before joining on a friend of mine, Betty from the 666 Kitchen, and I was wanting to see what he was up to, and I joined, and he's a pretzel on the floor with the entire Coach no Yakuza squad RPing at the time, just surrounding his body, and I think they were RPing, and I didn't understand what was going on. Just a dead Betty, a bunch of gang members surrounding Betty as he's a pretzel on the floor, role-playing what's happening with Betty as he's AFK on the floor. It was the funniest thing I sat in and watched.
No, if there is one thing I can if there is one thing I can honestly like praise specifically the Coach no Yakuza, they can take any moment, both like just like they can take any moment, whether it's funny or serious, and they just know how to roll with it. Like, they're one of the like most like, a lot of their community is really skilled at improving roleplay. It's crazy of how well they do it.
Oh.
Okay, the question I have, Line.
Yes.
Question I have for you is, I've noticed since I've been here, and it's our first time being in this event, how do you go about setting up the booths? You know, like when you start walking down this aisle and everything else, you can see where the role playing and stuff like this, and they're pretty much almost, they're not on top of it. I've seen you got them broke up a little bit. What goes into deciding where you think everything's going to fit and work for everybody? So, you know, the way you got it set up, everybody walks in a circle, and that's cool. But how do you get the ideas to set up where that everybody's getting an even chance to see everything?
That is definitely a question for our world team. Especially like like Pesky, because Pesky's the one that usually places everything in here. So if you really want to get an in-depth like answer to that, I definitely recommend talking to Pesky about it.
What's his name again?
Pesky.
Pesky.
What's his name? Pesky, get your ass over here. I got a question for you, damn it. Oh, they're never around. Shit. Damn it, I had a good question. No, I can't get it. Oh, that's the way it goes. It's out the toilet. It's out of here. It's out of here. He's probably in the other goddamn instance, isn't he? The little shit's in the other goddamn instance, isn't he? Yeah, that's where they're always hiding.
I heard he's working on a major update to the world to fix a lot of the problems, so I don't even think he's probably on VRChat right now. He's probably just in Unity.
You know, poor guy's probably to go back and watch this,
good help.
and hear his name called as his worker in the world. Like, wait, what just happened?
I would honestly love it to death. I might just send him a link to this video when it goes live, just for this specific reason. I'm gonna tell him to listen to it in the background while he's working on Unity stuff, and then just wait for him to specifically hit that moment, so then he just gets thrown off like somebody's talking to him in call, just to see what he does.
Oh, wow.
Poor Pesky. I would say I'm sorry, but I'm not sorry.
Poor Pesky.
I have
It's
so
okay,
much respect
Peps.
for Pesky and
Pesky, it's
I was about to
okay,
say
buddy.
Pepsi
No
again.
problem. I keep calling him Pepsi, man. He's gonna bring me a Coke instead. But sorry, buddy. I didn't mean to really cause any issues or anything like that. But I'll send you a memo, and hopefully you get it from 6 other people in the process. Have a good day. So
yeah, but I do have like absolutely like all respect goes to Pesky. He does so much for us and everything, and like I love to bully like almost everybody that's part of our team, like especially on the higher staff. But the only reason why I do it is like literally just because I have so much respect for them, and I love the fact that they can do the things that they could do, but still like be able to have fun with each other and like almost act like we're a family. It's such a great team to be able to work with.
for him, Lion. In the process, what you just asked, how many people are actually on the board and everything else like this. If you want to shout everybody out, I'd like to know, because boy, I like this. I could give them shit. Oh boy, I could give them some shit.
I don't know the exact numbers of every team. If you really want to check that out, I recommend going to the closing ceremony because we will have a credits thing that will be scrolling. So you'll get to see like every member of the team from that. But what I can say on the sides that I do know, which is primarily business team and media team, because I'm a member of both. Business team, we only have 4 members currently, which is Carrot as the director, Peacelay as the team lead, and then myself and Chris Connie. Um, and then as far as media team, I think recently we calculated we have about like 90 members on that team alone.
Oh wow.
Oh, wow. Holy shit.
Holy shit.
Criminy.
You know,
I'd hate to
Yeah.
serve coffee to those guys. Holy shit. I'd get it all fucked up and get everybody's coffee mixed up. Damn, that'd be a bitch.
just imagine being the guy
That
to
or you just
run for that
That or I
coffee
imagine
order.
you losing your voice from just screaming orders all the time of like who ordered what.
Oh, no
All right.
shit. My luck could still be wrong. I'd still get everybody's drink mixed up. They're looking, I didn't order a latte. What the hell's wrong with you? This is not mine. That belongs to so-and-so, and he's down there.
I could
Oh,
be wrong
shit.
if that's just media team alone, because when we talked about it, we were talking about some other teams as well, so that might be intermixed with some of the teams. But
Hmm.
it's like roughly around that much that has like helped the media team at least in some level. So, whether they're like specifically part of our team or if they're like some members of like the events teams that works close with us or things like that, I don't know the exact answer to. But yeah, no, we have a massive team regardless. Like the entire team of PJKT, like I wouldn't be shocked if it's like maybe close to like 150
Holy shit. You know, now that you mention
or
you're
maybe 200 even.
now that you mention you're on the business team as well as the team for media, how much goes into behind the scenes for PJKT? Is like there any financials that go into running this, or is it all strict like volunteer and time spent to get this going?
About the financial stuff, I don't have all the information. Also, I don't know how much I'm allowed to disclose for like legal reasons
Fair.
and stuff like that. The one thing I will say is a lot of it helps with the Ko-Fi, where we have a lot of people come in and actually give us donations. Like, for the sake of this, because they did state they do want to be anonymous, but we one of the entries for the Telly Awards that we did put in, because we put in 3. One of them was the money was actually donated to us to do that entry.
Oh wow. Holy shit.
Like somebody actually pitched in. I'm not like I said, for legal reasons I won't disclose it, but that was the case. Is somebody did actually do that for us. The like other the other thing about like a lot of the business stuff, at least on my end, I do a lot of the connections. I help out. I'm kind of like, other than Chris, I'm one of the other voices to a lot of the communities we work with. So I talk to them a lot, and also not to mention, I'm one of the people that myself and Peacelight, we both were the ones that like got the main connection and collaboration with us with Virtual Market.
Oh wow.
Like we were the ones that heavily talked to them. Peacelight, actually, we have 2 communities in here. One that's like Let's Play Japanese, and I think it's Let's Play Japanese, and then Japan Tours. Those are both from the that was like both exclusively like a Japanese market sets of communities. And because of Peacelight working with and myself working with Virtual Market, we were able to get those 2 in there as well. Like Peacelight worked hard to get Japan Tours in.
Wow.
And yeah, no, it's like a lot of our business team, we don't take credit for a lot, but we have like helped out a lot in front of like helping communities find their way here and get connections in here.
Okay. So what was it like for you guys when Virtual Market started working with you guys and such? Did they embrace you guys quickly? How did that go?
Virtual Market, it was a constant back and forth, like at least in 2023. There was a lot of stuff. Like I said, we were starting out new in 2023, so there was a lot of iffiness when we approached VCAT the first time. actually, I won't disclose too much of the conversation, but
Understand.
basically to dumb it down, it basically had is like we would definitely love to see where you guys go, and like how you guys grow. So they were actually originally there was a high chance we weren't gonna get them in our first year. And for that reason, because they just mainly like it, the conversation just dumbs down to like we really want to see you guys grow first and see like how you guys progress before we decide if we want to get like a booth in. And then we did some Peace Light helped with the conversations there, and also we got to like have some of the other directors pitch in there, and ultimately we did actually get them to give it a shot. And then after that, after we proved that we were able to do that and have the success in 2023 and everything, we just got more in depth with them, and then now they're one of our standing collab partners, and then we were able to work more in depth with not only getting them a booth here and an event here for this 2024, but now we have the ambassador team that we were able to sign up for them, and
Wow.
it's amazing to be able to have that collaboration with them.
What? How did it feel for you and the team seeing a collab like that with Virtual Market, knowing you're growing that far? Did it feel real to you?
I mean, for me, it's honestly exciting because I've been a long supporter of VK. I've been around since actually Virtual Market 3, back when it was still like exclusively mostly a Japan thing. Global Team barely started at that time. I was one of the few people that knew Lun, which is the marketing, not the marketing director, that's Chato. I don't remember exactly what role he has, but when it comes to him, it's the entire case of Lun. Like he barely started. I knew him before then from the club scene actually, because he showed me a bunch of like DJ clubs and stuff like that, and I met him through that. Because he was a big part of the music. He's still a part of like a big part of the music community of Vrchat
Oh wow.
and everything. He loves going to like these DJs clubs and everything and partying. He's been complaining like I'm gonna poke fun at him on this a little bit, but the amount of times I've heard him complain, because rest his soul, I hope it heals soon, but he did injure his leg recently, so he hasn't been able to dance because he needs it to recover. So like he's been complaining a lot about not being able to dance at clubs, like at these DJ clubs, because like he loves partying and everything. So.
I got another question, Lion.
Shoot.
Got another question for you, Walt. I'm just curious, what kind of music you playing in your headphones that you bring little people in like that actually get down and groove with you?
I have no idea.
Oh, okay, I just want to make sure because I can't hear it. I just
I
don't
don't
hear
even.
it.
I'm gonna be perfectly honest. I just this person just showed up. I don't even know who they are.
Oh, okay, just making sure. Wow, you can track a lot of different people even by the tunes you listen to. I see. Wow.
Anyway, but I mean, this is like a natural thing anyway. Like even amongst my team, I swear to God, the amount of times I've had people just like just snuggle up to me like during a meeting,
like somebody
and
else
things
we
like
know. Sounds like somebody else I know. This man can lay down for 5 seconds, and it's like flies on fly paper. Come over and just lay on him, go to sleep instantly. It's just unreal.
Yeah.
No, but anyway, like with the entire case though, I mean, like, no, I mean, I love my team and everything, and like we always have these jokes with each other like that. I mean, like me and Deathmap, oh, we bicker a lot. Like we're like brother and sister. I swear to God, it's like it's so much. If you ever like had the opportunity to join like media calls, whenever we're just sitting in there working on our own things together, like he'll work on arts and graphics stuff. I'll work on either video things like scripting or like working on some of the music stuff, and we'll just hit a moment every time where like people will come in and like we're just shit talking each other the whole fucking time.
Hotline, does that sound like anybody we know?
No, not at all. I wonder who that is.
Yeah, you lying bitch. Lying bitch. He's lying, folks.
Yeah,
Don't
no.
believe him. He's talking about somebody else. Yeah, right.
No, Raptor, I'm not lying. That's my name. There's a
Yeah.
difference.
Oh, okay, cocky pun. Here we go. Here we go with this. Yeah, go with the puns. Yeah, the only way out.
I mean, with how often I used to watch Metaverse Degen, it's like, it's kind of a thing almost every episode. He has to at least get one.
Yep. One pun's got to
One,
make it in.
One? Yeah, one. Thank God it's only one because I've seen him do about 12 in a fucking 5 seconds. It drives me nuts.
Oh, I guarantee it. Like, if like considering like after like officially meeting you and knowing what your personality is like, I'm gonna say right now, I know like whenever you have those episodes when there's like maybe one or two that pop up in the actual recording that you post and everything, I know there's like maybe like 20 others behind the scenes.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
like there's a million
There's
others
always
behind the
It goes
more.
scenes.
deeper than that. It goes deeper than that. It's not even in here. You talk to him in Discord or anything like that. He's got to throw the puns at me in the process. Oh yeah, I'm lying. Yeah, I appreciate. But I'm not lying to you. I know who I am. Yeah, go through. Thanks. Great.
To be odd.
Raptor is probably like 90% of his hair pulled. Like just wasn't even from like
I
anything.
think I'm adding more grace just because of him. I
To
know
be
what my mom
fair,
goes
at this
through.
rate, he's probably bald, got whatever hair is gray, and a permanent imprint of his hand on his forehead at this point. Almost guaranteed.
It's just like that scene.
Hurts like hell when you slap yourself with a headset on. That's shoving the baby in the back of your head. I'm trying to see in the back of your head what you're trying to do.
So, to go back and ask you a question. So, for the rest of PJKT from the second day on, or for the past, for those watching, what else? What other things other than booths do you guys offer? What kind of events can you go see?
Oh, we offer. There's so many ways we try to get people exposed in here. We basically try to do everything we can. Like it's not just the booths, but you can also like, for example, if some things we've offered and actually you can see in here, scattered around, is if you don't have time for a booth or things like that, you can get a rep roll and like we try to squeeze in as many people even if they can't have time for a booth or things like that. We like to offer also doing posters in the world. So you'll see some posters from like certain communities. Or like for example, 2023. You already saw it before. We have a sticker. We have a graffiti art of Neon Divide. The reason why that existed is because they signed up. We offered them a position. We offered them a position, and they didn't get back to us until later, saying they wouldn't have time to get a booth because like they're busy with all their events and stuff. I'm pretty sure was like the conversation. And so as a last minute thing, we are just like, okay, well, we'd still love to have you. And you guys are saying that you'd still love to be a part of it. So let's do something. Let's get you in there somehow. And so they sent us, we basically asked for their logo. They sent it to us. And then Deathmap did a whole graffiti art version of it and put it in the world for 2023 to like show they were there in some shape or form. And that was the thing. It was like we tried to work out as much as we can to get people's names out there. Like even I myself have done that on occasions. Like I do the community interview events that like I told you about and everything. That was something I started in 2023 because that was an idea I pulled. Funny enough, I got it inspired from Virality, where they did it with their DJs. They have like these little pre-recorded interview things like before they pull up the next DJ for their sets. In Virality, and I took a little bit of inspiration from that by being able to do that with the communities we work with. And so I do that live and just basically go and ask a couple questions for each community to kind of get their name out there and show people on our stream like this is what these people do, this is what you can get involved with and everything. Like if you're interested, like come and meet these people. And at the same time, I've drived heavily as like the video productions team lead, get communities involved with our video projects, like as much as I can.
Okay. So
like I don't know if you've seen these a couple times around. I know Novid has the avatars. Ugandan Knuckles, good old Lego man. I love that man to death. I asked him before, this was something for a video purpose, and we asked him to keep it so we can use it for Fest for this year. But he made an entire Ugandan Knuckles PJKT themed cleanup crew He's still building a lot of it, but he gave us like an entire cleanup crew. And the reason why I asked him to do that, and he was so willing to do it, was because like I want to get Uganda Knuckles involved and have them like have a video of just like before launch of Fest for this year. Unfortunately, I never had the time to do it. But I might do this again some year, but I wanted to get like different communities involved and do like a little countdown thing for the launch of Fest where all of them are kind of involved building this convention area. So we had like I had plans for like Kochino Yakuza doing some construction and like welding work. Uganda Knuckles were going to be our cleanup crew. It was going to be like a whole fun thing, and I might still do it. I might actually change it up now that I spoiled it. So then you don't know exactly what I'm playing. But no, we'll have to see. But regardless, yeah, no, I talked to Lego Man about it, and then he absolutely loved it. So then he immediately like got to work on like we have like two models from him. One like has like one's a little Uganda Knuckles. This didn't make it in the footage on the opening ceremony, but there was a shot we recorded where me and Novid were on your guys' booth here with the vacuum Uganda Knuckles, and like we sprayed dust all over it and started like vacuuming it up, like on the Metaverse Degen booth.
I wish that made it. Would have been
Yeah.
great to see.
We might still throw it in as an extra clip, but I love it to death, and I told Veeps that we need to have it somewhere at some point. It's such a great clip. It's such a fun clip.
So, one of the
No,
things
but
I remember back from some
Are
of your
your things
previous
18
ads.
plus?
what?
Are your events solely 18 plus, or are like other
No.
people allowed, like younger people allowed?
No. The events all range depending on them. Like for example, the only one that I know of, as far as my memory recalls, is that's 18. Well, 18 plus. It's allowed for everybody, but like we allow everyone into our events. The only one that's a 18 plus community though that is running an event is Skits and Bits. And they're an improv group.
Okay. Because I'm 16.
Yeah, that's it.
If it was the one that was 18 plus, I wouldn't be able to go in.
It's fine. Like their events are completely fine. The only reason why they're 18 plus is because they just like, you know, obviously they use foul language in their improv sometimes, and also they have a little more mature themes every once in a while and everything. Not like, you know, mature like anything that's get your mind out of the gutter. But no, like 18
I don't know
plus
what you're
as in
talking
like
about.
just more, yeah, just more like realistic kind of like scenarios and things like that. Like it can be some dramatic ones and things like that. Most of it's just because of the foul language though that their community members have used.
Okay. So another question is, I remember seeing some of the ads you guys did last year for PJKT and some of the stuff I saw this year. Where do some of your ideas and stuff derive, and how long does it take to like produce those opening ceremony and ads you guys do?
Oh, this ceremony was bad. No, but I mean, like, opening ceremonies are usually like our last project out of everything because it's like such the biggest. So our media team, we try to get everything else done and then work on that. And mostly that's Veeps working on the opening ceremony. Like this one, I said it out in the opening ceremony. Her and Novid were the ones that like did all the like Veeps did all the recording and editing, and Novid helped them with certain segments of it. So like if you look at the opening ceremony and look at that VOD and everything, that whole countdown segment of like that shows all the community ads and stuff like that that showed off all certain ones that submitted them. All of that was Novid's work. So
wow.
that was all Novid's portion. And then that big speech one that we did that was like absolutely amazing. That was all Veeps. They did all the recording, they did all the editing. All of that entire segment was just her grinding that out basically alone. And it is phenomenal. And like I'm not even kidding when I say this of like how dedicated they were to getting this done. They were up like literally they were up like basically they were editing this like they got the finishing touches and everything all finished and exported like 2 hours before our opening ceremony.
Wow.
Like they got it done on the day.
Wow. I remember I got to work the day before PJKT started the 27th, and I called Novid. It was like probably midnight or 1 in the morning at the time, and he's still up. And I heard right after the day he didn't go to sleep at all, working on the video. Him and Veeps.
Oh yeah, I'm sure both of. I wouldn't be surprised at both of them because both Novid and Veeps, they're somewhat notorious for doing all-nighters. I've had to yell at both of them a couple of times to get some sleep.
Well,
which a lot of people find funny when I do that to Veeps because like she is my director. So having a team lead yell at their own director to get some sleep. It's a weird dynamic that some people experience sometimes with me.
Dirty Raptor, Line Turtle, you're
Hello.
all here again. Hello.
Hello, how's it going, Light
Whoa.
Cycle? How's it going?
Yeah,
Hey, like-
what's good? Good. Back for round 2.
I
Hello
see.
again.
Yeah.
So,
I'm bouncing
Um,
between instances,
yeah.
and of course supporting my boy right here.
Ah.
good old show. He's a good old friend of mine too.
That's
Also,
right.
if you haven't checked out shows, I don't know if you checked out shows booth.
I have. It's
Lion.
amazing.
It is.
It's
quality,
amazing.
dude.
Yes, I've seen it.
I will praise this as much as I can, but Show did such an amazing job on the booth.
Yes.
Fun thing. Like, if I remember correctly, both Show has said this and also another creator that I have, that I like made sure was in here, which was Steve. Steve Stuff. You probably saw that one, like dead center.
I'm guessing you're
For both of them,
feeling very
this is
honored,
like, this is like the first time they did booths. First
Oh,
time.
wow. Wow. Well, I will say,
Like,
Showpo, the booth is amazing. I think it looks
yeah,
fantastic.
this was
Yes,
yeah,
it
this was
is.
Show's like
It looks
absolute
great.
first time doing a booth, and you did such
Nice one.
quality work. It's absolutely
man
phenomenal.
You can smell the cookedness of it all.
The cookedness, yes.
So,
Wait a minute.
No,
I don't
we
wanna
have.
I don't think you want me to say what I think I was saying. No.
Raptor, you started. Now finish your thought. Don't just hint at it and then leave
God,
it in
I
the
don't
open.
know.
Megabytes uncompressed, yeah.
Okay, no, Shovo, don't take this the wrong way, but nobody wants fried pussy sitting in a booth. Okay, it's just not my thing.
Look, don't judge him in his cat.
That's your
okay?
That's my lunch. Oh my god.
He's in a box. He's in his box. You just turn it upside down, take him home. It's okay. He'll come out. No problem.
Thank God while you're recording this, you do like text boxes don't show up on cameras. 'Cause,
No,
like,
they don't.
What the show just said? Oh, that would have been a fun thing to cut out.
Well, I'm glad it doesn't show. Showpo.
Thank you very much. Sorry about that.
So-
bro.
Final question before we wrap this whole thing up, Vanessa. Or two, actually. One, where did you get your name from?
Oh, Bracaro, I follow them
Oh,
on Twitch.
So the name Vanessa Wolf actually, it comes from a lot of things. First and foremost, Vanessa Wolf was the name I basically gave myself after I started my VTubing career and everything, and that was the identity I gave the name of my character. And the reason why that exists is because it's based on two things. Vanessa is obviously little whole spiel that you can probably guess based on the voice. I am trans.
Oh,
and
nice.
So yeah, no, I'm trans, and basically Vanessa was the name. It's basically the female version of my name. So I basically did that, swapped it over to Vanessa, and then the reason why Wolf exists is because my original name back on YouTube and stuff like that, I had a gaming channel named Military Wolf, and it was the reason why that name existed was because I was playing a lot of shooter and loot shooter games. Like Destiny was like my main thing. I posted a lot of videos of Destiny. And so I put in military because like, I was playing a lot of first person shooters and that was a lot of my content. So it was a lot of shooters. And then Wolf is kind of my spirit animal kind of take. I love wolves and everything. They're like my favorite animal. And so when it came to going into my VTubing career, it's like at that moment I decided I wanted to become trans. And so I was like, okay, I'm gonna change my name over to Vanessa, and then the reason why the wolf part is just the one part I kept in my name because I still like wolves, and so I decided to become a wolf girl VTuber, and so kind of wraps around the whole name.
Okay. And I take it the avatar is similar to the VTubing career as well. Is that why you choose it?
So this is my OC that I actually use a lot during Hangout and not when I'm streaming or when I'm doing collab streams. Because in this lore, this is actually a different name than the main one. Vanessa Wolf, if you look at the art and everything of her, she is a cyberpunk bard and everything. I took a lot of inspiration from, if you don't know the game, it's Valhalla, or VA11HA11A. It's a little visual novel bartender game that you're able to play. It's an indie game. If you're familiar with the Midnight Bar, it's literally this. That was the game itself basically being recreated in VRChat by Midnight in Valhalla and her team and everything. She's a good friend of mine. I love hanging out with her. But yeah, if you haven't been to the Midnight Bar, definitely check it out. It's a fun little just location, fun for parties. I know a lot of communities that use it for like after parties and stuff like that.
Wow.
Yeah, it's a really good place. But the thing is like I was a big fan of that game when it came out, and so I made a character that was based off of that game and made her a bartender, owner of a bar named the Demon's Cathedral. And
wow.
that's a different alternative version of this character. And this one, her name is Lavetta Sapphire, and with her whole spiel, basically, there's multiple. I won't go into too much detail because we'd be here for an hour, just me trying to explain the entire lore I have for her. But I have way too much. Point is, I have 4 incarnations of her. She's a demon that gets reincarnated several times.
Okay.
And this one is this version that I have of her is her second incarnation, which is able to jump between different realities. So I use her for collaborations as part of that lore, and then Vanessa Wolf is specifically for my own Twitch channel. So whenever I'm doing my own streams, I have 2 separate models that I basically use. This one for collabs, the other one for my main content.
Okay. Well, thank you very much for sharing all that, and thank you very much, Vanessa, for joining us. It's been an absolute pleasure getting to speak and meet with you.
Yes.
So thank you very much.
Thank you for having me on. It's been an absolute honor, and thank you so much for inviting me. It means a lot to be able to join you guys on this.
It's our honor to have you.
And thank all of you for being
Yes.
so respectful, by the way. Like, I love that all you guys stood here and listened and was able to maybe get some cool information for yourselves. So, like, thank you all so much. It means a lot that you, like, not only had the respect, but, like, also was willing to, enjoy the show. Hear us talk shit about people I work with.
Well,
Wow.
before we hand it off to Raptor to do the thing at the end, I will ask you, the audience, other side of the screen, a question. If you've been to PJKT, what's your favorite booth? And you haven't, you should come to the world and then come back and answer. Raptor, you know the thing.
Come and talk to these folks.
Gotcha.
They are so, like, if there's one thing I could say, if you really want to have like a fun conversation that lasts you several hours, just talk to this man. He rambles. Like, you definitely will have a fun time here.
Oh, wow, you got stuck with it, bitch. Ha ha. Okay.
Nice.
So on that note, and this is towards Chris, no matter what, Chris, I'll enjoy the setup that you have here and everything else like this, and hope I don't get busted, because I'm going to go pee in the bush because there's no potties here. I'll talk to you later. Bye.